Hello and welcome to another episode of Wheel of Horror, podcast where two best friends spin a wheel once a week. They choose the horror film and they discuss it. Today we're talking about 1996's Mars Attacks, which was directed by Tim Burton. I'm your co-host Alec.
Got, got. Erik.
That's like how you say it.
That's the best Mars Attacks impression I can do. Got.
Yeah, I have some pretty funny behind the scenes stuff. I guess we can start right with that then. Apparently, when they were writing the script for Mars Attacks, they didn't know what the aliens were gonna say or sound like, so they just wrote "ack ack ack" like in its place, being like, "We'll figure it out later. We'll figure it out later," and they just never did.
And he's just like, you know what? It works. It's stuck.
I would like to believe that the people that are like, "Okay, you're responsible for the
Ack,
alien
ack, ack, ack,
voices."
ack. Yeah.
They just saw the script and they're like, well, it just says "ack ack ack," and nobody told them, oh, we're gonna fill that in. So they just did it as it was. But anyways, yeah, I have a lot of little behind the scenes trivia.
I know nothing about the behind the scenes, so I'm very interested to hear what you have.
Yeah, I mean, I know a little bit. It's, before we even get into that,
Do you like this movie? You like this movie, right?
I do. I do.
Yeah.
It's I liked it when I was a kid a lot more. And
Yeah.
watching it now, like it is good, but I have quite a bit of criticism for it.
It's dated, but not terribly.
No, I mean like I'm fine with, like the CGI is not great, but it's like okay, well it was 1996. So I mean, what do I really expect? It's about as good as Star Wars Episode 1, honestly, maybe a little worse. Like the dove. The dove looks like shit. I'll say the dove looks like shit, but the aliens look good, you know?
It's a fun, I mean, it's an hour and 46 minutes, and it has a lot in it. It's action packed. It doesn't get boring at all. That's my take.
Too much. There's too much going on.
At the end, it's like, all right, my head hurts. Like with the Indiana Jones globe, and it's like, what is going on?
Yeah, that's the thing. The movie a little too long and there's a little too many characters. It's just what it is. If it was an hour and a half and they had these many characters, this movie would get like a 10%. It would be like insane. But even at an hour and 46, there's like 20 characters, dude. Like that we're supposed to give a shit about, I guess, but they all die so fast. Yeah, it's a fun movie. It is fun. It's kind of for me the like the beginning of the end for Tim Burton a little bit.
Clearly, this was a passion project and just a fun movie to make. He didn't make this movie to make a gazillion dollars. He made it because it was like, I'm gonna get my crew together. We're gonna have fun. It's gonna be a motley crew of actors. Everyone's in this, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean the cast is absolutely stacked. And I mean, and Tim Burton's never really had a problem with that. I mean, if you look at like Batman, I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, like Christopher Walken, Billy D. Williams, Michael Keaton, Jack
Jack Nicholson, yeah.
Nicholson, Danny DeVito, Michelle Pfeiffer. It's just like all of his movies.
Christopher Walken, like, yeah, he's very used to being with stars.
Yeah, so I think this is kind of like, okay, now we're gonna do an original story, I guess. Do you know about like what this is based off of?
It's like a play on the 50s flying saucer movies, like the sci-fi diner stuff, right?
No. Oh, I thought you knew this. Okay. So in 1961, there was a trading cards game, or not trading cards, they were just cards by Topps, the people that make like baseball cards. And it was called Mars Attacks. And it came out in 1961, and they were a problem. Kids loved them, adults hated them, dude.
Like Pokemon a little bit.
When way worse than Pokemon.
Not as big.
No, well, here's the thing. Let me explain. So Pokemon is for kids, and it's clearly for kids. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Mars Attacks was marketed at kids, and it's literally just murder and borderline rape and dogs getting killed and the White House getting destroyed. It's in 1961, this was extremely like vulgar stuff, you know? So Tim Burton loved it, obviously, as a kid, and they got like, like the politicians got involved. They're like, no, this is not okay. So they got rid of them. And then, 20 years later, I guess they came back in the 80s. There was Dinosaurs Attacks. There was a couple spin-offs and comic book series and all that stuff. And then Tim Burton really brought it to the mainstream with this film. But yeah, dude, look up some of these 1960s top cards.
I'm on it.
Dude, it's like lighting a dog on fire. There's one of like a woman in her bed. The aliens are breaking in, like pulling the sheets off of her. They're pretty graphic, and especially for 60 years ago, you know?
Oh shit, he's like ripping the face off of someone in this one.
Dude, there's something you'd expect to come out in like the 90s, not the 60s, you know? So, yes, to a degree, this movie is based off of like B movies, like the Ed Wood kind of Planet Nine from Outer Space, those kind of 50s B movies. Definitely a nod to that. But the source material is taken from those Topps cards.
I love them. I want these cards.
I bet you could get them. I mean, dude, I watched this video of like what's going on in the Mars Attacks world now. The crossovers are crazy. They have one where it's Popeye versus Mars Attacks.
I'm looking at all this stuff. It's why you see Stan Lee punching a Mars attack, Martian.
Dude, they're everywhere. They've done so many crossovers. There's all these comic books. I still have an action figure from the 90s, and you press the button and it goes like, "Ah, ah, ah." Like it works. I still have it.
I like the giant robot that's like walking. There's like pictures of it when I Google it. Yeah, he did a good job bringing that into the. Oh, and there's the when she takes her head off, the same exact looking card. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, he did his best to like emulate the cards and stuff like that. And one thing specifically is like a lot of the trading cards, the aliens are attracted to Earth women, and then he tried to do that in this movie when you have them like looking at the
Yeah,
Playboys.
look at Hustler or whatever.
Yeah, and you're like, why would they be interested? But I guess that was a nod to the cards. Yeah, so source material's there. It's interesting. I mean, I'm sure they're, dude, like imagine you were 10 years old in 1961 and then you find out in your 40s they're making this movie. I'd be like, dude, I gotta see this.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like, yeah. I mean, that probably. I remember watching this with my dad. My dad loved this movie. Like he laughed out loud to this, especially with the dove. He loved the dove seed. I remember that. Yeah.
I was gonna ask you, you didn't see this in theaters, right?
Not theaters. I probably saw it in like 98 for the first time when it got to TV, like 97, 90. I was definitely like 8 or 9, I'd say.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
I haven't seen this in over, I'd say 20 years, and I remember it pretty well. It was a blast from the past rewatching it. I completely forgot Jack Black was in it, and I'm like, damn, he was young.
Yeah.
And I did catch some jokes this. I'm like, oh, that's what that meant. And I'm like thinking of my like 7-year-old brain remembering the jokes. I'm like, oh, Erik, little Erik, tricks of her kids.
Yeah, the only thing that I like really remember is the Chihuahua head with Sarah Jessica Parker.
So my dog, I had to like leave the room. Like I had to like kick her out. Like go out there. She was going nuts for the dog head on the body. You can imagine Miley with that. Oh my God, dude, crazy.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a Chihuahua in the movie, and then they take its head off and put Sarah Jessica Parker's head on it, and it's a whole thing. But that was one of the only things that stood out to me. And as a kid, I was like, "Damn, it looks so good." And now watching it, I was like, "This looks like shit." But whatever.
It's almost fun though, like to see how how like Jack Black just like burns up too. It's like it's shitty but good shitty.
Yeah. Well, that's something I definitely want to talk about is like they introduced this cast. And granted, in 1996, Jack Black was, nothing. And, most of these characters, they're very recognizable, but a lot of them are like not as big as they will be, like Natalie Portman or Jack Black. But dude, they introduce a character and then they just kill him so fast. So I don't know. I mean, Jack Black got murdered. Michael J. Fox gets murdered. Martin Short gets murdered. You're just like, Jesus Christ.
Pierce Bronson eventually bites the bullet.
He lasted longer than I was expecting.
Yeah, but like a lot of big names are like in it for like 10 minutes. Yeah.
Dude, when Michael J. Fox got killed, I was like, wow.
In his hand or whatever. That was sick.
Genuinely forgot he died that early. Yeah. But yeah, you do have a good cast. Everybody's so spread out. I mean, you've got like rural Kansas, you've got Washington. I don't think they do LA or New York, but it's just kind of all over the country.
Yeah, it also reminds me of Independence Day. I think that came out around the same time. And the two main character, not main characters, but the son of Randy Quaid looks a little similar to this kid. So I'm like wondering, like, did they do that on purpose?
So I can tell you.
Please.
All right. So I think it was early 90s or late 80s, they did release Dinosaurs Attack. And Tim Burton was actually going to do that movie instead. But then Jurassic Park came out and they were like, we're not doing this. It's too close or whatever. So why don't you do Mars Attacks? So he starts filming that. They're also at the same time filming Independence Day. Nobody talked about it. They didn't be like, hey, is this close to your movie? Literally no idea what these movies were. Independence Day comes out. Tim Burton's like, fuck, people are going to think this is a spoof of this. And literally, he was like, it's all a coincidence. Anything in these movies that has to do with each other is purely coincidence.
I believe it. They're totally different movies, but they are a product of the time.
Well, they're both 96. They're both about aliens invading. They're all about like
Totally
pretty.
different looking aliens, totally different plot. Yeah, totally different characters. Yeah.
Yeah, but you could see how in 1996 somebody would be like, is this a spoof of Independence Day?
And like having redneck parents, and he has red, and he looks exactly the same, you know.
Yeah, there's some. Well, who was the president's daughter in Independence Day? Was it Scarlett
It
Johansson?
was a little girl. It was a little girl.
Okay. Yeah, so it's like I don't know. There are some similarities, but I believe Tim Burton. I don't believe he would want to hurt his movie by stealing things from a movie that's coming out like 3 months
Well, you have
before
Deep
his.
Impact, Armageddon, White Earp, Tombstone. They're all the same, movies that came out at the same time with the same thing.
Yeah.
Deep Impact, Armageddon is like, wow, that's really crazy that both those movies came out at the same time.
Yeah, I mean this one's definitely a comedy, and so it is different, but I don't know. Like it's fun. It is fun. The CGI is okay, the music's good, the cast is good, but I just feel like the plot is all over the place. I mean, if you just look at this movie and you're like, this is just about an invasion of aliens and what happens, like, okay, that's fine. But if you're looking for more, you're like, are they like, what is the point? Like,
It's like scary movie too. They do a lot of like the scene with Martin Short and the alien lady. That's from Romeo and Juliet, where they're looking between the two fish tanks. That's a shot for shot of the Romeo and Juliet scene where Leo and the hell's her name, Claire Danes.
this came out before that.
But tell me that's not a shot for shot.
I don't really remember that movie. I've seen it with the guns and Leo. Yeah, but that came out in 98 or 99, I think.
All right, I gotta keep talking. I gotta Google this shit. I'm losing it.
I think the cast is great. Like I don't think there's somebody that does a bad job. Like everybody seems like they're doing their best, but like there's too many people for me to be like, "Oh, I like him or her or whatever," or I see why they're in this movie. The only person who I'm like absolutely is needed is Jack Nicholson, and he does a great job as the president. But dude, I hated that he played two characters. Totally forgot about that and hated it.
Yeah, there's no need for that. They could have
Dude.
got anyone else to be the. I mean, obviously Jack Nicholson as the president is way cooler than the other guy.
Yeah, get rid of the fucking character, the redneck casino owner. Like, just get rid of him. There's no reason to even have, or if you're gonna have it, don't have Jack Nicholson play it. And if you absolutely have to have Jack Nicholson play it, say he's the president's brother.
Well, the Las Vegas thing is a whole nother thing. Also, Jim Brown is in this movie, one of the greatest running backs of all time, if not the greatest running back of all time. RIP OJ too, though. And Jim Brown just passed away recently as well. And it's just like, what a great cast. But I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, even that guy's character, like,
But he's
why
Vegas.
is
He's Vegas. So it's Vegas centric, and then you bring out what's the name of the singer who is it's not unusual
yeah,
to be
Tom Jones?
that's fucking hilarious. Bringing like Las Vegas under attack, like it's great. And
There's too much going on, dude. There's too much going on. Like, I don't even understand who Jim Brown is. Like, why is he even in this movie? I like him, but it's like, so Pam Grier and him are having like this marital issue. I'm like,
he's a famous boxer.
is he though? Yeah, he was.
No, he in real life he's a football player. He played for the Cleveland Browns. In this movie, he's a boxer who's retired but needs money and does this like Vegas thing at the Luxor to like bring people in. So he dresses up like an Egyptian, and the Luxor is a giant pyramid in Vegas. So he's like just like a celebrity, like a carrot top, walking around taking pictures with fans, and he's a draw for people to go to the Luxor. That's why he's there. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that, but maybe have that be like 3 seconds of the movie.
It was. He calls his family. He's
What?
like,
Eric.
what?
That's
What?
like 20 minutes if you combine the Pam Grier stuff with like her kids at the bus station and be like, get your ass in there. Like, dude,
But
there's
that's cool. And the kids save the president. It's all connected, dude. It's not like it's all over the place.
I'm fine with the Pam Grier and the kids thing, but the Jim Brown thing, I'm like, this is so unnecessary. And if you just want to have like that one moment to be like, hey, it's Jim Brown in a casino, sure. But to have it be like a whole side plot and he's
He's
got to
the
get the
last shot
plane.
of the movie. He's literally the ending of the movie.
No, that's Tom Jones, his last shot.
Right, but no, isn't it him walking back to his family when we thought he died? Remember?
Yeah, that's like definitely at the end, but the last shot of the movie I
Yeah,
fucking hate. So
yeah.
I specifically remembered it. It's Tom Jones holding like an eagle.
Dun,
Yeah,
dun.
dude, I was
Come
like,
on, it's awesome.
no, no, no.
Wow, dude, I didn't realize you hated Jim Brown so much. Wow.
No, I didn't even know who he was until right now. I have nothing against Jim Brown, but I don't think a movie that has 20 main characters and is only an hour and 45 minutes needed this guy. I am fine with the Pam Grier thing, but then to bring it into like this whole divorce bullshit, I'm just like, oh my God. Yeah, I didn't think that was necessary.
I guess it's like watching a movie and having Tony Hawk play like a really cool character for
Yeah,
us.
and have him be there for like a second, be like, that's Tony Hawk, that's cool. And like he gets shot by an alien or whatever. We don't need a whole side story with Tony Hawk. Danny DeVito, same thing. We don't need Danny DeVito in this movie. We don't need Michael J. Fox in this movie. There are
But didn't
so
you
many.
like Danny? I like Danny DeVito's character. It was so unnecessary, but it was funny.
I know it feels like he just stumbled onto set and they're just like, "Do you want to just do something? Like, you want
I
like."
guarantee that's what happened. He's like, yeah, Tim wants to do a movie. I'm there.
So that's the thing. I'm not specifically against Jim Brown's character. There are other characters in this movie that I think have no purpose either that take away from the
Did you
runtime.
not like Tom Jones too? That was more of a cameo.
I hated that. I
You hated
hated
that?
that.
I love that. When he's on stage doing the Vegas residency and they're all dancing and he's just like, holy shit.
I'm okay with the little cameo like on singing on stage, totally fine. But then when he becomes a part of the
Well, he's
fucking
like, do you know how to
crew,
fly a plane? Yeah. Like that's the fun of the movie. He's like he's all
ah,
connected.
I know.
And it's Jack Nicholson's plane and it's like it's all I know. It's all over. It's a little crazy. It's a little crazy.
There's too much. So I'm okay with everybody individually, but you got to cut some fat off of this then. Like get rid of Annette Bening and the casino guy. Just get rid of them then. Focus more on the president. Focus more on Pam Grier and her kids. Focus on Lucas Haas and the donut shop. Like have those be your three main things then. And then everybody else is whatever. They're cameos. They're not characters that are never going to be fleshed out and then get killed abruptly. Anyways. I'm done shitting on this movie though, because it's
There's so many great parts, dude. Like the
yeah.
grandma and the music with the
Yeah, I
like
love that.
that
Love that.
is like that's what killed like it's like the war of the worlds. Like what killed like bacteria kills the aliens when like shitty country music kills. That's fucking hilarious.
That song is incredible,
I
dude.
know, it's great though.
I've had that song on my iPod for like 20 years.
That's like a Fallout song, right?
No, it's not Fallout, but it's I looked it up too because it's a guy named Slim Whitman. It came out in 1951, but that was actually a remake from 1924. And I listened to the 1924 song. Whoa, dude,
Old, right?
music was crazy 100 years ago.
Yeah, man. You ever listen to the old blues like Robert Johnson? Like dude, it's crazy how they even recorded that shit.
I mean, this is 1924. They barely had movies then. Like, I don't
Hmm.
even know who these singers are because it doesn't sound like this song at all. But you can hear that it's like when I'm calling you, like they do that little part. But most of the song doesn't sound anything like this version. But it was
Yeah.
interesting. It was cool to go down that rabbit hole. Great song though. Interesting way to kill them.
I just like too, he wanted to get his grandma. He's like, I'm going to get grandma. Like, God, leave her. She's already in the loony bin.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
no.
terrible. What else is that guy from?
Oh, dude, that guy was in Cape Fear.
Oh, right.
He's the guy that pours
With the Pepto-Bismol.
Pepto-Bismol, yeah, into his whiskey and drinks it, and he's just like, "Let me tell you something."
That's rough. That's someone who's hurting.
I love that guy, dude. He's great. Oh, another little thing. So the beehive alien woman, that whole scene where she like goes in, she's got the ring on with the eyeball. That one.
Awesome scene.
So that is Lisa Marie. That's Tim Burton's like girlfriend at the time.
Not Elvis's granddaughter, right?
No. Just Lisa Marie, not Lisa Marie Presley. So I looked her up because I was like, oh, what else has she really done? So most of her stuff has just been Tim Burton stuff. She was in Sleepy Hollow. She's Ichabod Crane's mom, which that scene freaked me out when I was a kid. But she's been in a bunch of his movies. But dude, I looked it up. So when they were filming Planet of the Apes, Tim Burton fell in love with Helena Bonham Carter while they were filming that, and Lisa Marie had a very small role in that film. And he dumped Lisa Marie,
Oh.
starts dating Helena Bonham Carter.
Oh.
So what Lisa Marie did is she had a bunch of Tim Burton stuff, like artwork and just like props and all his clothes, all the,
Oh.
and she just did an auction and sold it all.
Damn.
He must have been so mad.
Like probably the statues from Beetlejuice and shit like that. Like all the props, like just gone.
I wish I could have got a list of what it was, but it was a lot of his personal stuff.
Like the original Jack Skellington figure. Oh, probably so much crazy shit he was probably so pissed about.
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of interesting. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Planet of the Apes, man. It always is Planet of the Apes.
I want to cover Planet of the Apes, not that one, the original,
Charles,
but
it deserves a Wheel of Horror to some
yeah.
extent. There's some scary parts for sure.
Oh, absolutely. No,
Definitely more sci-fi, but this
yeah.
is more on the sci-fi level than
Yeah, this is like
horror.
sci-fi comedy.
No, but I love this movie, dude.
Yeah, no, listen, I was negative on certain things that I'm critical about the story, but overall, it's worth watching. It is. It's fun.
I like like the ending when they're giving out the Medal of Freedom or whatever, and they got the
Yeah.
mariachi band. That to me was hilarious. It's like we're barely holding on right now. So like we got like them playing the national anthem. That to me was funny, but also after Jack Black dies and they're at the funeral and the color guard is like firing off the guns. Like I hate going to I've been to multiple like military like funerals where they have the guns and stuff, and it is exactly like that where everyone just jumps. I always thought that was so funny.
Yeah, he says a funny line at the end too, where he's like, I guess we just gotta like rebuild.
Yeah, well, he pulls out like his little daddy's napkin, and he's like, and he does a great job like being like dumb, but he did just save the world.
He's funny. I didn't recognize him from anything, but he's actually in The Righteous Gemstones, which I love. That show is fucking hilarious. So I did look at Lucas Haas is his name.
Yeah, he was hilarious.
Yeah, and then another thing, another little behind the scenes, we can talk about the music a bit. Music's good. Music is Danny Elfman, I think, at like his pinnacle of just like it's spooky, it's engaging.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, especially the opening shot with all of this flying saucers coming and the credits rolling. Like the music's really good there.
it is a really underrated score. Absolutely gonna add that to my playlist.
Yeah, Tim Burton and Danny Elfman definitely have like a good little combo going, but little behind the scenes drama. So
Ooh, is this where they had the falling out?
it was actually on Ed Wood where they had the falling
Ed
out.
Wood.
No,
That's
well,
right.
so okay, so the falling out was because of Nightmare Before Christmas. So Danny Elfman was doing the singing voice of Jack Skellington, and Chris Sarandon was doing the speaking voice. And Danny Elfman was like, "I want to do the speaking voice too. This is bullshit." So Tim Burton was like, "No." So they got in a huge fight over that. So Tim Burton and Danny Elfman didn't work together after Nightmare Before Christmas. So Ed Wood was composed by Howard Shore, which is the first time I guess Tim Burton and him didn't really work together. I'm sure there was a few earlier ones, but then they reconciled, and this is Tim Burton and Danny Elfman working together again after their falling
Willy
out.
Wonka, or what did they do? What was their first?
Their first? Oh,
Back together, like back after their falling out. What was the?
this Mars Attacks.
This was the first time back together. Okay, so 96.
They had a falling out in like 93, and then they figured it out in 96.
I mean, to be honest, when I was a kid, I always thought that was the same voice as Chris Sarandon was the singing voice. I never knew that was Danny Elfman. So I understand where he's coming from. Like, I want to be the voice. I want to be known as Jack. And he
Yeah.
is, I think. He does a whole tour now where he goes on concerts and does Jack Skellington. So I mean,
Mm. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I talked to Joe about this actually on Saturday, and
interesting. Oh, a little Joe take. Go.
well, this was my take actually. So I was like, I can understand why Danny Elfman was upset. I do. And if Tim Burton promised him that, then I could definitely see why I was upset.
Yup.
That being said, Danny Elfman is a composer and a singer. He was the lead singer of Oingo Boingo. It was an 80s band that did the Weird Science theme song. He is a singer and he's a composer. Chris Sarandon is an actor.
Iconic horror actor, too.
It's different to have a actor voicing a character than to have a singer composer voicing a character. So from Tim Burton being a director, being like, I want an actor to play the role of this character as opposed to a composer, like I can kind of understand that. Like Danny Elfman's not an actor, like, and Chris Sarandon is. So the singing thing, sure, maybe Chris can't sing and Danny can, sure, that's fine.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas says Simba. He wasn't the singing voice of Simba in Lion King.
Exactly. And whoever was, I'm sure didn't get all pissy with the director
Nah,
of.
but you got to read about his royalties, dude. That kid like did very well. They were gonna give him a one-time thing, and he got like a percentage or something. And damn, man, that kid was set for life.
Yeah, so like I can understand why Danny Elfman was upset, but and I don't know all the details, but
And it's not like you're not a known name, Danny Elfman. You know,
yeah,
you're so known at this point. Like, let it go.
he did. And he did after 3 years, yeah, so and now they do everything together, so it's good.
Excited for Beetlejuice too. I really am. I heard nothing but great things so far. The trailer looks cool. Michael Keaton is I'm sure he's getting paid, but he's also like this is an actual good film.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it too. Very cautiously optimistic. I mean,
I'm sure it'll be cool. I'm sure it will be cool. Yeah.
yeah, maybe like Hocus Pocus too good, you know?
I hope it starts with him like literally getting to his turn of, when he gets that like deli meat number, like
Oh
and he's
yeah.
like a gazillion numbers, and like that's how the movie starts. I really hope that's where it kicks off. Like finally. And like
Yeah, I mean, it comes out what in like 5 months, so we'll see.
I think September. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this movie though did not do very well.
Yeah, can I go over the stats real quick with you?
Yeah, yeah.
We started doing this with the sequels, but I'll just keep it going. This movie came out in 1996, an hour 46 minutes. Too long, Alec. I agree. Too long. 56% Rotten Tomato critic score, 53% Rotten audience. Not very
Ooh.
loved. Budget was 80 million, box office 100 million. With marketing, this is a loss.
Oh
This
yeah,
is a loss. Yeah.
big time. And I hate to say it, but I kind of think this is the beginning of the end. Like I have not enjoyed a Tim Burton movie since Sleepy Hollow, really. I know that's horrible to say.
I'm pulling up Tim Burton's latest, and I'll be totally honest with you as well.
I mean, to be fair, I haven't seen Dumbo, but you know, I don't know. But from 85 where he did Pee-wee's Big Adventure and then he does Nightmare Before Christmas and Frank and Weenie. Well, he didn't direct Nightmare Before Christmas, but
Mhm.
Batman. He's just like there's so many fucking good movies.
James and the Giant Peach. Shit, man.
Wait, did he do that?
He's a producer. Sorry, I
Oh, okay,
lied.
okay.
He's also labeled as a producer on this, but he directed. I'm gonna go to director. Sorry, director.
Yeah, go to
Previous.
his director because I guess,
Was he
90, I'd say like 2000 onward, it's kind of
Edward Batman Forever? He going back. Mars Attacks. Sleep Planet of the Apes remake. You hated that? I bet you hated that.
that's bad.
Big Fish is really cool.
Yeah, Big Fish is good. Big
Big
Fish
Fish
is
is
good.
cool.
Yeah. Corpse
Uh,
Spread's pretty good too, actually. Oh,
I
I
hate
like Sweeney Todd.
Sweet Tide was good. Charlie
Yeah.
and the Chocolate Factory was like god awful. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
knows it too. He knows it too.
Yeah, dude. Like Alice in Wonderland was horrific.
I will say this. Alice in Wonderland was better than Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, in my opinion. However, he had to ruin Alice in Wonderland with the second one, which was absolutely horrible, dude. One of the worst movies. Weenie was really cool.
Well, the original one, dude, from 84 with
Yeah.
Shelley Duvall or Shelley Duvall, I think. Yeah. Dude, that one's really so sad and scary. It's a short. I remember seeing it when I was a kid and I cried so much.
And he's directed the Wednesday Addams series, which I fucking love, dude.
He did like the first two episodes.
I know, but he's the reason why it is where it is too, and he set the tone and everything. It's a really good show. It's probably one of the biggest shows out there. Have you seen it?
I saw a few episodes. I thought it was all right.
Not for
It
you?
was fine.
Yeah.
It was fine. But dude, all right. But look at 85 to 2000, dude. That is like
Yeah.
banger after banger after banger. I mean, if the worst movie that he did financially was Ed Wood in that time, like that's pretty damn good, dude.
And that's a good movie. That's a really good movie.
You're right. That's a good movie. And it didn't do that well, but you're like, all right, well, it's kind of like a niche, small film. And then he comes back with Mars Attacks, also doesn't do that great. But then Sleepy Hollow comes out. Sleepy Hollow was amazing, and that killed
Sleepy
me.
Hollow was unique. It's unique. I'm not in love with Sleepy Hollow.
Oh, dude, when was the last time you watched it? When was the last time you
We
watched
watched
it?
it like 2 years ago. We did the podcast for
Oh,
it.
you were on for that one? I didn't think you were on for that
I
one.
wasn't on for that one, but I watched it. Remember, and then I couldn't do it, and you and Justin did it, I think. But
Oh,
I did watch
dude.
it, and it is good. It is good, but it's a little outlandish for me. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to explain it. I'm not in love with Sleepy Hollow.
All right. Well, anyways, let's get back to Mars Attacks. But do you have a favorite character in Mars Attacks? Of the 500 characters, do you have a favorite?
I mean, Jim Brown. You're gonna hate that.
He's your favorite?
Jim Brown and Jack Nicholson as the president.
He's your favorite. What does he do?
He's Jim Brown, dude. Do you realize how big that is for this movie? He's one of the best football players of all time. You know
Okay,
I love football. You could give shit about football. I
I
love football.
literally didn't even know he was an athlete. So,
He's one of the best of all time. Hall of Famer. Yeah.
okay. But to be fair, like most people watching this movie today have no idea who that guy is.
That's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. If you're a football fan, you know who Jim Brown is, but that's unfortunate that most Gen whatever Zers don't know who he is.
Well, probably most Gen Zers don't even know who most of these people are. I mean, to be fair,
I
like,
work with a couple younger kids that they don't know who Michael J. Fox is, and they've never seen Back to the Future, and I'm just like, yo, like I don't even I you're like a baby in a diaper to me. Like you have no experience in life in film if you don't know these movies. Like there's one coworker hasn't watched Jaws, hasn't watched The Godfather, hasn't watched Back to the Future, hasn't watched oh man everything. Like it's insane.
well, this movie, I mean, you've got
You don't need to
James.
watch this movie. You don't need to, but I love it.
but it's got James Bond when he was James Bond. Like that's a big deal to me.
Kill Michael J. Fox when he's in the middle of retiring from acting.
Yeah, he was on Spin City and
Probably why he was short in this not a long-lived film. I mean, scenes, I guess.
maybe. I mean, he was still acting.
I guess you're right. That's wrong.
He
Yeah.
was in Spin City at this time, and that was a sitcom. But yeah, I mean, Danny DeVito is definitely very popular at that time. I think he's more popular now. This is Sarah Jessica Parker right before Sex and the City. Pam Grier obviously was a huge name in the 70s, but then she just did Jackie. Oh no, Jackie Brown would have came out the next year.
Tom Jones, like that's cool. Like Jack Nicholson, like yeah, this
Yeah,
cast is phenomenal.
it's a great cast. It's a great
It's an
cast.
ensemble cast. There's not a lot of films that I mean, this might be one of the greatest casts of all time.
It might be, yeah,
Departed's one of my favorite casts. I think Departed might be my favorite cast of all time.
yeah. It's between The Departed and Argyle for me.
Yeah,
I'm kidding, fucking Argyle.
yeah,
That
Argyle.
stupid cat movie. But yeah, I mean, I like all these actors, so it's like, okay, like they're good, but to me, they overstay their welcome. I mean, geez, I like forgot Glenn Close is in this movie, dude.
I mean, she's a yeah.
She's like a huge actress in the 90s, and I barely remember her being in this movie.
I just totally forgot until you mentioned her.
Yeah, she's a president's wife. She gets killed. I mean, I don't know.
But the Chandelier classic
And Natalie Portman, like Jesus Christ, like
coming right into Star Wars in a couple weeks, probably. Like shit. Martin Short, ladies and gentlemen, Martin Short. We're forgetting Martin Short.
I know he didn't do anything though. Like he doesn't have any moment that like stands out to me.
Well, him and Pierce Bronson were the two like they want to make peace with us, and it's like they want to make peace with us again, and like every time it's like I like when he calls like the president of France, and he's like, "Get out of the room," and then it cuts back. It's so good, dude.
Yeah, there are. I mean, I think Jack Nicholson is pretty much on point when he's the president for every line. I mean, his speech when he gives, he's like, "Why are you doing this?" And he just like smacks himself in the head and like,
That was a one take thing. There's no way he did that more than once.
yeah, when he says like, "Can't we all just get along?" Like that. Yeah, he's there's something about him, and I know this is gonna sound so crazy, but Jack Nicholson and Chris Farley, I can watch them do anything
Yeah.
and it's entertaining. Like it's not funny when it's Jack Nicholson, but I can watch him do absolutely anything. And I just saw him in this video online. I don't know why I saw it, but it's like all these people are coming up to him asking him to sign stuff, and they're like, hey Jack, new movie coming out soon, Jack." And he's just like,
I saw the video.
"Oh, you did see that?"
Let the guy get in his fucking car. I hate
No,
that,
but
man.
dude, when they were like a new movie coming out, and he just pauses and he's just like, "No," and then just like walked away because he's like 85.
No, he's retired as hell. Dude, that guy's
Yeah.
the man. I actually saw I work for Sally's the Beats in New Haven, and someone asked me like if I wanted to share a pizza with any actor, who would it be? I literally picked Jack Nicholson the other day. I was like, I'd love to just sit with Jack Nicholson. He's probably so cranky, but I
Yeah,
think I would just like I would just love to get him in a good mood and talk to him.
30 years ago. Now,
I
yeah,
think that could be cool too. Why he still can, man. He's up there. He's over 80, right? He's 83.
he's almost 90.
Shit, really?
I think he was born in 1937.
Holy shit,
So
man.
he's,
It's sad, dude. Time is fleeting.
well, the fact that he's alive and Clint Eastwood are alive. Clint Eastwood,
Clint's gonna go any day.
he's got a new movie coming out this year. He's directing a movie that is coming out this year.
You know what I need to see? I need to see the movie he's directing, but I need to see video of him directing. I want to watch, The Last Director, like kind of documentary style of watching him direct. It must be a spectacle with everyone like he's hard of hearing when he talks, listen, like everyone on set has to be silent.
Yeah, Matt Damon, I listened to an interview with him, and he basically is just like it's like one take, basically. And Matt Damon went up to him one time. He's like, "Hey, I didn't really like how my accent sounded. That could we do it again?" And Clint Eastwood just looked at him and he's just like, "Why do you want to waste everybody's time?" And he was like, "Okay." And he just kept moving on. So like he just moves, dude.
Yeah. He's a spaghetti Western guy. He doesn't have the time or the budget to deal with bullshit. One take
Mm,
and done. And I'm willing to bet, I didn't even look this up, that scene with Jack Nicholson saying, "Can't we all just get along?" I have a feeling it's a one and done. I can't imagine Tim saying, "Cut. Can we run that back?" I bet he said, "Cut. Perfect. Move on."
It's possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the commentary track, but
It might have been a longer scene that they cut things out of, but I think it was just one take.
it is possible. It is possible. We'll never know. But anyways, all right. Mars Attacks. Fun movie. Check it out. I'm sorry I shit on it a little bit. I do like it, but it's got problems.
I love it. And you didn't shit on it, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it was an honest criticism. But anyways, why don't we spin the first wheel?
Let's spin the wheel. Spinning. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Friday the 13th, part 4. Is that
Ah.
correct? 4?
Yeah, yeah. So a new beginning. Oh wait, no. What's it called? The final chapter. The final chapter. Yeah.
Is this the one with who's in this one?
Corey Feldman's in this one. Yeah. This is the beginning of the
Cool.
Tommy Jarvis trilogy. But I know we just had Joe on, but we're gonna have Joe Testa back again for this one. So get ready for
Poor
that.
Joe, we gotta wake him up.
Yeah, I know he's probably like Jesus Christ, but no,
Guys,
he did tell me on Saturday he wanted to do this one, so we will oblige. All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening in to our episode on Mars Attacks today. If you haven't had a chance, go back and listen to last week's episode. I interviewed Stan Alger. I think I'm saying that right, or Alger. And he's a independent filmmaker, and he made a really great short, which is on YouTube. So you can find all of that in the description of the episode. And we will see you next week with Friday the 13th, Part 4.